So this reading is from Connie Simon, who's the minister in Cincinnati. This is the hour. The time has come. Mindful of our responsibilities as leaders of this faith and guardians of the living tradition, we call upon that great cloud of witnesses, those who came before, those who are here now, and those who have yet to come. We seek their presence, love, and support in this place at this hour. We kindle this flame and to light their path and call them near as we undertake this sacred work. Yes. Take it away, Anne.
Ending our annual congregational meeting. A year ago, we all envisioned a very different year than we have experienced. The turbulence and upset of our best-laid plans caused by Delta or Omicron and all the new variants have been met by resilience and adaptation by our congregation. We invented a new way to offer services which allows accessibility and safety for our beloved community. A special thanks to all of our ministries and other groups, as well as our 8th Principal Ambassadors, the Reopening Task Force, and the Ministry on Welcome and Membership. We would not have managed in-person and Zoom services, the hybrid structure we now have, without the hard work of all those who set up the sanctuary, the technology in the sanctuary, and manage it every week for our services. I want to thank the outgoing board members for their services. Sue Alexander, who has served as member at large and led this year's pledge drive. Peter Lacey, who has guided us and tracked the finances as treasurer for 2 terms. And Susan Rice, who has served as president and co-president and given so freely of her time and energy in leading the board for the past 2 years. A special thank you to Reverend Rachel for her leadership this year, and to Leah, who aids us in countless ways. This morning, in addition to improving the minutes of the 2 congregational meetings this year and last year's annual meeting, you will be asked to approve the slate for the Leadership Development Committee and the board, to approve the budget for 2022-23, and to endorse the proposed covenant. We will also have an update on the siding project.
So during this year, the Committee on Shared Ministries has been examining the idea of covenant. We've done research on how other organizations and other congregations have dealt with covenants. We've also had a number of open sessions with congregation members to talk about things that are important to them about covenants. And we've gotten a lot of ideas, and we do have a proposal which you heard this morning, and you'll hear again in just a moment. The idea, we want to approve this covenant as is for a year of study. Proposed congregational covenant for the UUSA, June 2022. Love is the spirit of this community, and service is its practice. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth and justice in love, to work toward the time and place where everyone's worth and dignity is honored by all in our world's beloved community. So I could entertain a motion to approve this covenant as is for a year.
All right, thank you. Folks, we're about to wrap it up. I'm John Gerber. You just elected me co-president, if you don't know who I am. I'm the guy in the box with the Zoom thing. Most of you know that I'm a relatively new member of the congregation, although I've been around UU for some long time. My wife and I raised our kids in a UU congregation in central Illinois. When we came back east, we went to Northampton, actually. And then when a beloved minister left, we kind of faded away a little bit. But when my wife died 2 years ago, I knew that I needed connection. And I looked around by Zoom at various places where I could connect, and for better or for worse, I chose you. And a little earlier today, for better or for worse, you chose me, so here we are. As a relatively new member, I realized it's a bit of a risk to take to vote in an unknown commodity, and I thank you for your confidence. So my task today was to look forward, and we know that predicting the future is a fool's task, particularly at a time of rapid change, and what we've got is a time of rapid change. We know that. And yet, I have confidence. I'm an optimist. I'm a glandular optimist. My wife said I had an optimist gland back here, so I can't really help it. But I'm optimistic based on my experience with the congregation over the last year and some of the things that I see as we look forward. Just look. We had a pledge drive, and like many congregations and most nonprofits, the total pledge is down a bit, but the pledge per person and per family is up. We have faith in the future of our congregation. And while we love and will miss Rebecca Fricka in the role of DRA, we were able to attract a really highly qualified candidate for that important role in Andrew Coate to help us move forward. We experimented with and were successful sharing with the UU congregation in Northampton, Florence, Johnny Williams as youth and young adult program coordinator, and we've made a commitment for another year. And we've seen a reorganization, a revitalization of several of our committees and ministries. The small group ministry, which changed things up a little bit this last year, will reshuffle the deck and invite you to participate in different small groups so we can get to know each other at a deeper level for new people. The Ministry of Welcome and Membership is working on a Getting to Know You survey and improve the outreach to new and longtime members. The Leadership Development Committee is exploring a connection with UUA's Leadership Institute to continue to build our organizational capacity, particularly among our emerging leaders. The communications team is exploring how to get short videos onto Facebook to keep us in the public eye. And the tech team is looking at making improvements so we can continue to offer excellent multi-platform services. The Committee on Shared Ministries will help us test drive the new covenant we just approved. And perhaps most important, the pastoral care team is planning a picnic this summer. So things are happening, we're moving forward. We'll continue to grow and change, demonstrating the resilience that UUs are known for. And while we may be a bit bruised and battered over the last 2 years, we're still standing. What we know for sure is that next year and beyond we'll continue to produce changes and surprises. Some of them will be delightful, and some of them will be more challenging. Many of us are tired of the change. I get that. I've heard over and over again, I'd like to get back to normal. Well, for me, normal is not an option. Normal created the conditions which resulted in a global pandemic. Normal produced a climate crisis. Normal is a world in which 40,000 people die every day from hunger, malnutrition, and preventable diseases, mostly to do with unsanitary water. Normal is not good enough. We need to do better than normal. One of the things that excited me most about joining this congregation was your vote a year ago to endorse the 8th principle. You voted last year to actively build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community and to work to dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and our institutions. One of the things that really interests me about this commitment is how we might work to dismantle oppression in ourselves and our institutions right here within the committees and the ministries of the UUSA. This is not an indictment. We all have this history. Oppression is baked into all hierarchical organizations, from universities to corporations to religious institutions, even progressive religious institutions. The way we communicate, the way we deliberate, the way we make decisions at the UUSA has evolved out of a supremacy culture. We can't help that. That's what's normal. And while we enjoy common UU practices such as the personal check-in at the beginning of our meetings, which we love, I think we can do better. I know that you are a welcoming community because I was welcomed. And I still think we can do better being more welcoming and more inclusive to diverse populations. This summer, therefore, I intend to explore resources offered to us by the UUA on dynamic governance. These are tools and practices that might help us improve the way we make decisions, the way we communicate, the way we run our meetings. They may be antidotes to the characteristics of our supremacy culture that represents normal. The UUA is helping progressive UU congregations across the country to learn and practice practical tools of dynamic governance based on the principle of sociocracy. I intend to take advantage of those resources, and I invite anyone who is interested to join me in this exploration. So far, there's about 5 or 6 people that have expressed interest, just by word of mouth. If you want to chat about dynamic governments or about anything to do with UUSA, I invite you to a cup of coffee, take a walk with me, or meet on Zoom. I'm enthusiastic about our opportunity to build a rich history of the UUSA, our resilience, and our commitment to each other. As we adapt to an ever-changing world with care and compassion, I believe that we need to challenge what we think of as normal. Normal will change, and it will change through lots of different kinds of experiments. Some of them are going on all the time. You can't go wrong by ending with Emily Dickinson, right? Emily Dickinson wrote, "Not knowing when the dawn will come, I open every door." I think we need to open lots of doors, because that's what resilient people and resilient organizations do. They try things. I see an opportunity for lots of experiments over the next year. Perhaps some of them may not feel normal. Some of them will fail, and then we'll try again. But for now, I encourage you to rest. Many of us are tired, and talking about the future can feel exhausting. So rest. Enjoy the summer with your family and friends, and let me know if you want to take a walk or just to chat about the congregation that you and I love, and perhaps dream together about what we might yet become as we work with open minds, loving hearts, and helping hands. Thank you. And next is Reverend Rachel.
I didn't know John was going to preach to me today. That was pretty exciting. I am grateful for this congregation. I'm grateful for your commitments to one another, to the traditions we hold, to the future that will come. I'll extinguish our chalice, thank our cloud of witnesses for being among us today, the flowers, the children, our forebears, Willie, beloved members gone. And I'm grateful that all of you were here today. The annual meeting is concluded, and I think we should all get a little of that sunshine out there.